Hello everyone and welcome back to the Confessions of a Teenage Witch podcast. My name is Ella and I am your host, and today we are doing a video episode because as much as I enjoyed the audio episode last week, I think that today's episode with what we're talking about would be best to be video version. And yes, I feel like we lost some people last week. So yes, I'm going to be trying my best to carry on doing video version when I can, because it works better with YouTube, because I want to have as many people as I can watching the whole way through on YouTube, because I'm trying to get my watch hours up so that I can get monetized on YouTube. So with every person that watches an episode of the Confessions of a Teenage Witch podcast on YouTube, I get an extra watch hour closer to the goal of like 4,000 watch hours. I'm currently on about 1,000. I also need 1,000 subscribers to get monetized, and it would be an amazing achievement if I could do that this year, because it would really help support me through university, and also because I'm trying to grow my channel more. Like once I have kind of grown it, then I can start getting the income and I can start investing more into this channel. So maybe I actually might be able to edit my videos on a computer for the first time ever, even though I've been making videos for like 8 years. Anyway, today I'm going to be showing you, and I really need to, I need a necklace. This is not working without a necklace. I can't live without a necklace on. So yes, today I am going to be sharing with you my current collection of witchcraft books before I go off to university, because I thought it'd be an interesting episode, because I would make just like a normal YouTube video about this topic, but when I have stuff that's quite rambly, I think it's better to do it as a podcast episode, because then I can just like talk about it more and more and not think that people are going to get bored because it's a YouTube video. So yes, but before I go into sharing with you all the books that I have, first I want to share with you something that I bought thrifting the other day, and it is very, very cool. It is this plate, and it's got ivy on it, and it's just so perfect. When I saw it in the shop, I was like, oh my god, that is so me. So yeah, I'm going to be putting jewellery on this, and yeah, it's really great to do like spells and rituals on, to do crafts on, and just have like as a decoration. Like you can put it on the table and do like a little table decoration with it, like put a wreath on it like that. That might be a bit over the top, but like that kind of thing. It's great for altar setups as well. So yeah, I really, really love this. I've been searching for like a really, really cool plate like this for a while, because I do have one, but I just love like witchy decorated plates. They're such nice things to collect. Yeah, especially for altars. As I said, they're perfect for altars, because you can just like put different items on them, and then you can also move the altar around if you want to do a spell in a different place. So yeah, plate altars. Maybe that'll be a video one day and I'll give you guys ideas of if you were to have a plate altar. Anyway, let's get started with the tour. So I started collecting witchcraft books when I was around maybe 11 years old. Yeah, probably around 11 was when I started collecting actual witchcraft books. And oh my gosh, we've got all those ones up here as well to share. I might have to hold the mic, because when I go around here you can't hear me. Let me turn the gain down, because it turned out really high. That's probably better. So let's first start with the book that I always reference. So the first couple of witchcraft books I bought, I didn't buy any like ones from Amazon for ages, because I just didn't really think about investing into my craft like that, because like as a kid you don't really have like a lot of pocket money, and like as a kid if I wanted to buy a book I would just buy like a fiction book. So I had like loads of fiction books but not a lot of witchcraft books, and the only witchcraft books that I bought were ones from The Works, which is like this British shop, and they sell books that are like a lot cheaper than they would be in like Waterstones and WH Smith's and like places like that, and cheaper than Amazon. So you could get a witchcraft book for about £4, which was an absolute bargain, and it still is. They sometimes do witchcraft books in there, but they've started being more expensive, or they just completely don't have them anymore, which is a shame because I had them for so many years. But so my first couple of witchcraft books were from there, and it wasn't until I started really getting into witchcraft books like 2 years ago that I started investing in like proper witchcraft books, like exact ones that I wanted to find that I got recommended to me from like witches online and stuff like that. So first I'm going to start with a series that I bought. So I bought, these books were like £2 each when they were in The Works. I bought them when I was about 11, and I just collected as many of this series as I could. There was one that they had in the shop a lot that was like flower essences, which I didn't buy. There was also like the I Ching one, I don't really know how you pronounce that, but like some kind of divination method. I didn't buy that one. And they might have had the chakra one, I'm not sure, but it's like a massive series of witchcraft books called Orion Plain and Simple, and these were like my thing when I was like 11. I was obsessed with these books. I made so many of my witchcraft YouTube videos just me reading passages out of these books because I took them like the Bible. Something that I highly recommend, like if you're really young and you're getting into witchcraft, don't like have one book and like treat it as the Bible. Like it's just one person's experiences that you're reading, even if they've researched. Because like when you're really, really young, if you get a witchcraft book like that, it can make you feel like that is it, like that is everything, but there's so much more. There's like a whole world outside of that, and it does cost a lot to invest in more books, but if you do it over a longer period of time and you really take all the information you can from each book as you collect them, then it is like a good investment. So yeah, let's go into those books, and then I want to talk about creating like your perfect bookshelf, which is something I've been thinking about a lot lately, and I did start writing a video script on it, but I never finished it. I started writing it in like March, but I don't know, I might do it one day. So here we go. These books have been kind of exiled to the top of here because like I'm not really I don't really use them anymore, because what I haven't memorised from these books I don't need to know. Like, they were really good beginner books, but I wouldn't recommend them to people nowadays. It was just because they were cheap and they were accessible. So yeah, as I said, they were £2 each in The Works, and I bought tons of them. Like every single one I could get my hands on, except from the ones that I told you that I didn't buy, I bought. So yes, first one I ever bought was Wicca, and I read this book loads and loads, and I mean it's all right. Like it's an all right book. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone unless you're borrowing it from the library. I'd give it a miss. It was just because that's all I could get access to. It's good because it gives you like an overview of everything, but it's not in colour and it's very base level. So yes, there's the blurb if you want to read it. So yeah, it is a good book. But yeah, at the beginning of my craft, because so many books are about Wicca, I thought I had to be a Wiccan, and I think that's an issue with some like witchcraft books around that time, like 2016. There was so many books about Wicca, so it made you think that you had to be a Wiccan, which is not true obviously, but like if you're 11, then you know. So yeah, that's the first one that I bought, and because I really, really loved that one, I went back and I bought these two at the same time. And also when I bought these two, I bought a book on like herbal medicine, like a really, really thin book with recipes in it, but I think I donated that to a charity shop a couple months ago because it wasn't very useful. It was like a really, really thin, yeah, it was really not useful, and I didn't ever do any of the recipes in it. But anyway, so we have crystals and we have meditation. And I haven't read this recently since I've actually got into meditation, but like it's all right. It's really not great. But they were just nice to have when I was younger, to give me like a introduction, but I never really understood what these books were talking about because I was so young. Like I didn't really see things from like the perspective that I do now because I've gone so far like on my journey. So I didn't really understand meditation. I remember the first time I ever meditated was when I was like on holiday in the Isle of Wight and I was about 8, and I wasn't like actually meditating properly, but that was when I first ever thought about the concept of meditation. But I never really learnt what meditation was properly. I did do it in primary school. They did teach us how to meditate. Because there's some people I've spoken to like recently, asked them if they've ever meditated, and they've never meditated, and I just find that concept crazy because it's so accessible and it's such a great way to like check in with your mental health. I was reading a book yesterday. Oh yeah, this book that I bought from the charity shop. Literally flashing the address of the charity shop I went to, that's a bit dangerous. This book I bought from the charity shop yesterday is incredible. Like I didn't realise how good this book would be because there's so many books like this in charity shops and you just can't tell if they're good or not, if they're just like books that are just randomly been written about yoga. But it is so good. It was like £2.50, but it's so inspiring. Like I'd like to do an episode about this book because it just has like such amazing like quotes in it, and it just talks about like yoga as a way of life and how like yoga isn't always just on the mat, like moving around in life is also yoga. So I want to just read a passage. So yeah, this is another one of my witchcraft books, I would say, but it is really nice. So where is it? And it talks about Gaia as well, the goddess. I just wanted to find something interesting. Oh yes, I really like this passage in the beginning. It says, "To walk in beauty is not an easy task. It is like re-establishing a perpetually collapsing bridge. You must be forever watchful, forever aware. The bridge of serenity does not stand firm forever. It is like a crossing made of loose planks. You always reassemble the planks. It is a continually creative act, and a frustrating one, too. You would like this bridge to be firm, but it is not. It is a ceaselessly dynamic and balancing activity. So enjoy the balancing act, for there is so much joy in the process of maintaining the bridge, as there is in enjoying its fruit. Peace, serenity, and radiance." I just love the way that this book is written and how like nice it is. It's just a nice thing to pick up when you've spent some time away from yoga, or if you're really into yoga, or if you just need like something to just remind yourself of like this spiritual mindset. It's just such a good book, so I was really surprised I found that and how good it was, especially as this book was written in like the early 90s. Like it's quite old compared to like all of these books that I have. It's really, really nice. But yeah, sometimes I find like old spiritual books are better than like current ones, because they really have that essence to them, and that way of writing is really nice. So, right. Let us then go back to what we were talking about. So yeah, I bought these two at the same time, and I tried to use this book a lot when I was getting into crystals at the beginning of like my witchcraft journey, but I found it really hard because it isn't in colour and it it doesn't really have a lot of information about the crystals. It's quite limited. But it was just nice to kind of get like an understanding of crystals in general. But I really love it that books now, like witchcraft books, if you're a beginner witch, there are so many like amazing books to start out with, and they're all in colour. I feel like, because I've got like addicted to YouTube and like all these colours and stuff, I tend to gravitate towards books that have like lots of pictures in and like drawings and that are in like full colour, because I'm so used to like this everything like moving and like video and all sorts, because of like this whole technological world we now live in. So like reading a book where it's just plain text on a page, it's harder to concentrate, and that's really, really sad. So I'm trying to get back into actually reading and not expecting like an ad to pop up. Anyway, so yeah, again, these books, they're all right, but like I wouldn't go out and buy this. Like I wouldn't tell you guys to go out and buy these specifically. They're just a part of my journey. Like there's so many better resources if you want to get into these kind of topics, and hopefully in the future I will have like lots of series on these things. Like I am currently writing a crystals series that I want to start doing, where I will give you like advice for crystal shopping, how to know like a crystal is calling out to you, some new concepts I've been learning about with crystal magic, like are crystals really necessary, do they really work, the science behind how crystals form, like the chemistry. So yeah, that is that. The next one that I bought was this herbs one, and again, it's all right, but like this one I find is probably one of the worst books that I bought from this collection, because it's got like sections about each of the different bodily systems. So we have the digestive system, the endocrine system, the lymphatic system, the muscular system, the nervous system, and it's like I don't really want to be mucking about with those sorts of systems of my body. I think they've kind of they're all right. Like if I'm ill, I will probably try and get like Western medicine before I start experimenting with herbs, because if you're that seriously ill that you've got something wrong with like your lymphatic system, it's probably not, you might end up making it worse by trying like a herbal medicine you haven't tried before, because you don't know what you might be allergic to, and you might be so ill that you can't like quickly get better. So like one day I'd like to learn about herbal medicine, but I don't feel as drawn to it as I thought I would, because like my kind of aesthetic and like how much I love nature, it would seem like I would be a witch who's really interested in plants and like the properties of plants, but I don't really care that much. Like I'm not a green witch. I always thought I'd be a green witch, but like at this point in my craft, I don't find it interesting to research like what herbs are for. Like it's all right, but like I don't feel like going deeper into it. So that's why I love like eclectic witchcraft, because I can like learn a little bit of each herb and have like a general understanding, but not like go deep, because I don't feel like drawn to do that. So yeah, I find like herb magic interesting, but I find like the science and the biology behind how plants live and work and how they communicate with each other and stuff more interesting than learning about like the metaphysical and also the medicinal properties of them. But we shall see if that changes with time. So yeah, there's that one. Now, wow, we're 20 minutes in and I'm still on the first collection of books. This is going to be a long episode. Next, we have this fairies book. And I thought that this would finally let me start working with the Fae, but I think this is the furthest I've ever felt from working with the Fae. Yeah, it didn't really teach me a lot, and I've read this book a lot. I haven't read it recently, but it didn't teach me a lot, so don't recommend it. And then this one, Psychic Ability. I think this was probably the best one out of all of the ones that I bought. I feel like the Wicker one is probably my favourite one because it's purple, and purple is like that really nice spiritual colour that spiritual people love. Because it's really interesting, like purple is, I think purple's the one that's like hardest to see. And red is like the easiest to see, like with how physics works. So yeah, that's really interesting. And I just love that shade. Like I feel like purple and green are like my favourite colours. Anyway, I need to drink. So yeah, psychic ability. This one was probably the most interesting, but yeah, I haven't read this since I've had a proper brain, so I don't know. If you want to learn about psychic ability, I would probably recommend the Psychic Witch. I'll put a picture of it here. I haven't read it yet, but it's been on my to-read list for so long. I really want to read it, because it's like one of the best books about teaching you about modern witchcraft. It's so highly recommended, but I haven't bought it yet because I keep buying everything else. Anyway, so that is the first collection of books that I have owned on witchcraft topics. Next, we have this book. Now, this book I talk about a lot because it was the first book that really introduced me to proper witchcraft. It introduced me to deities, to working with incense, to how to set up an altar. I think I might have got this one in between buying those books. Yeah, it talks about runes, tarot, but really like surface level. Like there's just like 2 pages about tarot. But yeah, again, highly recommend, if you're getting into witchcraft, definitely buy books that are in colour, because it helps so much to see this sort of stuff. So yeah, I feel like when I was younger and I'd read these, I didn't really take in the information because it didn't really make sense. So I kind of just like would try and read it. So yes, there we go. Next, oh gosh, I'm going to completely dismantle this. Next book that I bought was, okay, probably these ones. So I bought this one first, I think, Crystal Tips and Cures. This is probably my best crystal book, and I really need to update it because I bought this when I was 12 or 13, I think. So I've had it, no, I must have been 12. I bought this like when I was 12, and it has quite a few crystals in it, but it doesn't have all of the crystals in it. But it's just such a useful reference guide. And what's nice is it doesn't really give you the properties of the crystal. It tells you its star sign, the planet, the element, and the chakra, or chakra. It is chakra. So it tells you crystal tips. So if you have this crystal, you can use it for this, that, and the other. So let's pick one that's quite common, like sunstone. So if you have sunstone, an idea for sunstone is to keep the sunstone near you to see the brighter side of life. You can put it in your purse or wallet to bring you abundance. You can hold sunstone to ease away fear when you are scared. It's kind of like selling points of buying a crystal instead of like its actual properties. Like I borrowed a book about crystals from the library the other day, which is really good, but I wouldn't say buy it, but I might show you guys near the end. It's really good because it goes into like stuff about crystals that I didn't know, but not at a level where I'd actually buy that exact book. But that one's really nice. It's a bit more up leveled than this one. But this one's nice to just like the common crystals, to just like refer to them. It's just a good mini reference book. It's very small. But yeah, I will never get rid of this book because it is just so cute and so perfect, because yeah, it's just a great introduction just to like show someone if you have like a friend round and they want to learn about crystals. And it's all in coloured sections. It's all organised in colour. Like on the end, it looks really pretty because it has all the different colours. So yes, and then the next one I bought, this one's from the Works. This one's from the Works. That Witch Journal one's was from the Works. This one was £5. You wouldn't get this for £5 nowadays. It's hardback and it's in colour. This would be more like 8 in the works today. This one was £4. This one was £3. God knows how I remember that. But yeah, this is RRP is £14. If you saw that in Waterstones, they would definitely charge you £14 today. So, oh my gosh, there's a picture of the chalice well in here. I never even realised that. That's really, really cool. Where is it? I just saw it. Where is it? But yeah, so this book, it's here. It's the Chalice Well at Glastonbury. I have a book about the Chalice Well we will get onto. So yes, this book, when I saw it in the shop, I think I was with my cousin. Yeah, I was with my cousin. And she was into witchcraft around that time, because I introduced her to it and she was kind of thinking that it was a fun thing, but she was still very, very young. I think she might have actually been younger than I was when I first got into witchcraft. So yeah, I kind of just taught her like really basic level witchcraft, but she doesn't really practice witchcraft now, but like the odd time I'll talk about it, she'll be interested in what I'm saying. But yes, so we saw this book and she was like, the Wicca Bible, you've got to get that. So I did, because it's really heavy, and when I first bought it, it felt like an everything book, and it's really good, like it has a lot of information in it, but it's got a lot of like exercises and stuff, but I wouldn't recommend that you went and bought this book. It's got a lot of like deities in it, it covers a lot of ground, but it's not like the best information that you can get. And what you'll find in this video is that there's barely any books that I would actually like recommend that you personally buy that I absolutely love, because I feel like I have not found my witchcraft yet. Like I feel like I know a lot about witchcraft, but I haven't like found my practice. Like I don't really do a lot of witchcraft. I just kind of learn and talk about it. So yeah, I know that's very controversial of me to say that, but it's true. I wouldn't lie. I don't really do a lot of spells, because I'm still figuring stuff out. But yeah, this has got lots of visualizations in it, about covens, about like a simple love spell, and yeah, it's quite good for learning like some basic stuff, but yeah, it's not the best book that I have, but it's really, really nice. And again, would never get rid of it because it's just like a part of my journey. So yes, next we have this Spells for Mindfulness book, £4 in the works. Bought that when I was in maybe year 8. Yep, so I was maybe 13 when I bought this. So this book is just loads of spells, but they're a bit like Kindra. So they're just like, I don't know, they're wrote quite like nice, like peacefully. I guess that's how I'd explain it. I don't know, you can pause it and read the synopsis if you want. But yeah, it's a good spell book. I've maybe done one spell from it before, but yeah, I just feel a bit attached to this book, so I don't think I'd ever get rid of it. So yeah, next one is this one. I bought this one quite recently compared to the ones we were talking about. I bought this maybe last year or the year before. Maybe the year before last. Or maybe last year. Like early last year maybe. Or before that. But I've always wanted a book on lunar magic. And I wasn't sure about this book for a long time, and I still haven't really used it. I think when I get into lunar magic one day, it will be really, really good, but I still don't really get like the whole like astrology magic kind of stuff, even though I did a whole like cosmic witchery video. I don't know, I still like it talks about like when the moon is in Cancer, when it's in Capricorn, when it's in Gemini, and it just talks about what happens around that kind of time, what kind of spells it's good to do at those sorts of times, but I don't know, because I don't really use it in my craft a lot. It's not one of my favourite books, but it's really nice to hold. It's like a nice soft hardback. So I think it was like £4 in the works. So yeah, next ones, I'll talk about them briefly, but they're not witchcraft books. They are 2 books which were the closest books to real witchcraft that I read around that time, because when I was younger I had like an obsession with reading books about witches. So yes, these were really, really good, and I absolutely loved them when I was about 11, 12 maybe. But they're really, really nice. It's like about this girl that moves into this old house that she, her family inherited when like an old family member passed away. And yeah, she finds out that she's a witch, and it has, lots of real witchcraft in it, but it's not completely factual. Like there's loads of fantasy magic in it, but they're just really, really lovely books that I just really, really love. And they were kind of at the beginning of my journey, so I really loved them. So yes, next we have, and I think I'll just talk about it quickly. In here we have scrolls from Witchbox, which is the witchcraft subscription box, and they're basically just got information on them. So I just keep them all in there because I don't really have anything to do with them, because I don't really want to flatten them out and put them anywhere. I think they just look nice in here. But one day I might frame them and put them somewhere, like if I had an empty wall, because some of them are really nice and decorative. Like this one teaches you about how to connect with the earth. So I have about 5 of those because I bought 5 witch boxes. So yes, that is those. And it's in this pot that my friend bought me for my birthday. And then next we have these cards from Witchbox, which I love. And the set is not complete because I didn't get the air box. The air box was the one before the first one that I got, and I was really tempted to reach out to Witchbox at the time and ask them if they had an air card like still around somewhere that I could buy off of them to complete these series, because they are so useful. They tell you all the herbs that correspond with that element. They tell you about the symbolism of that element, the time of year, the time of day, the direction, the tarot card, the zodiac signs, the colours, the crystals, the chakra. They're just so useful reference cards. So I love those. So I keep them in here because I don't know where to keep them at the moment. Next we have this book. I thrifted this a couple of months ago. It's called A Book of Cut Flowers. I forgot I had to actually read out the titles of these. Sorry if anyone's listening to the podcast, they're not going to know what's going on. I'm going to be uploading the video version of this to Spotify so that people can watch it, because or else it's not going to make any sense. But yeah, it just talks about like different flowers and what they symbolise. I would love to get the book The Language of Flowers one day. That'd be really, really cool. But yeah, it just tells you about like flowers you can gift people and like what colours they come in, where they usually source them from. And it's just a really nice, cute little decoration-y book. So yeah, and it tells you how to arrange them as well, which is cool. I'm going to get the next couple out so that you can actually hear me and I'm not just keep turning around because you can't really hear me right now. Right, so next we have Wicca by Harmony Nice. This is a great beginner's book. I don't know if I would recommend it now as the perfect beginner's book, but when I first read it, I thought it was the best beginner's book I'd ever read. It is really, really good, and I really recommend it, but I don't know if there's better beginner books because I haven't needed to buy beginner's books for like a couple of years. But I do think that it's important, even when you're like 15 years into your craft, still to read beginner's books, because other people have different ways of presenting like the basics. I made a whole video about like why I will always watch like beginner witchcraft videos, because it's so important to like relay those foundations, because you could like forget like some really simple parts of the craft that it's like easily there that would be really useful to know with like spell work and stuff. So yes, I really, really love that book. That was probably my favourite beginner's book that I own, but yeah, as I said, haven't seen the most recent ones. Next one we have is the Herbal Alchemist's Handbook, and I have yet to really get into this. I bought this about a year ago, and yeah, it's really, really useful. It's very highly recommended by people, by witches on YouTube. So if you want to get into like herbal magic, I highly recommend this book. It's probably one of the best ones you can buy like as a beginner, and it talks about why and how certain plants are corresponding to like certain planets, which is something that I never really understood. So it teaches you all about that. So yeah, I think if you want to get introduced into green witchcraft, this is a really, really good book to start with. Next one we have, it's not really a witchcraft book, but I find that Aurora really links to my witchcraft practice. She really inspires me creatively, and also really helps me to connect with nature. So this book is on my witchcraft shelf. I haven't read it fully yet, but it's really, really beautiful. She shares all of her journal entries that she had when she was writing my favourite Aurora album, The Gods We Could Touch, or The Gods We Can Touch. This album is really, really significant to me because it came out around my 16th birthday, and it's just an incredible album, and highly recommend it if you haven't heard it. It's very spiritual. Each song is written in honour of different Greek deities, so it's very, very witchy, and it's just such an incredible album. So yes, that is those 3 books. Oh my gosh, it's just gonna fall down. It's so heavy. Okay, next ones we have. This is probably the most recent witchcraft book I bought because I don't buy witchcraft books very often at all. I feel like a lot of witchcraft I like intuitively learn as well, and I don't buy them that often because witchcraft books are really expensive, like compared to other books and other things that I want to spend my money on. Like some witchcraft books, most of them, they're like upwards from £12, and I never know if I wanted to buy 3 witchcraft books, that's £36. That's mad. So yes, this one is so good. I made a whole video about this. This was what guided my cosmic witchery video. I'm still reading it, but it is so beautifully laid out. If you really want to get into astrology magic, this is the perfect book to do so, and it just teaches you in such a beautiful way. So yes, and also the author, she has lots of really good introductory witchcraft books. There's like Natural Witch book. She's got one on tarot. There's one about plant magic as well, I think. Next one is The Secret. We did a whole podcast episode about this. Episode 2 is about The Secret. And this book is really, really good, but it is controversial. So yeah, it's a good book to have in your collection, and I recommend that everybody has a copy of it if you are into like manifestation and law of attraction, but it's definitely not like essential for everyone. It's just like a nice book to own if you're one of those people that's like, this thing is a nice thing to own, but unless you use it, it's not really useful. Like there's certain books as a witch I feel like it's essential to own, like this book and this book and like the Wicca Harmony Eyes one. Like some of them, they're just like absolute essential witchcraft texts. I really recommend them. And also like Scott Cunningham's Wicca book, like even if you're not Wiccan, it's got such like fundamental witchcraft, like it's really, really useful to have. So yes, that is that. Next we have the Tarot Workbook. I made a whole video about this and how I think that it's like the best way to learn tarot. I've not really been into my tarot the last couple of months But I am going to be doing more videos on tarot, because tarot is like such an incredible practice for anyone to do, even if you're not a witch. I think it just helps you to see different perspectives of your life, help you with making decisions, help you with reflecting on past events, thinking about what to do in the future, how to cope with life at the moment. Like, it's just the most incredible guide, and yeah, it's really, really fun to do. It's really, really nice to do with friends and stuff, so it's really, really fun. Next we have Healing is the New High, and this is a really, really incredible book. I tend to read this book when I'm going through a lot, and it teaches you like how to deal with trauma, and how to kind of cope with like really hard things in life, like when you're dealing with like difficult people, difficult situations, and it teaches you how to like heal from it. And yes, I bought this from a charity shop, and yeah, it talks about how your childhood affects your life. It talks about like different meditations you can do, different like journaling stuff you can do to try and help you learn from stuff and like move on from stuff. So I really, really love this book. It's always there for me when I need it, so I really, really love that. I recommend that to anyone. This book is so good. Like, yeah, perfect. Next one we have Yoga for Witches. I got this one for Christmas. Oh, I can't keep pulling these out. I'm literally these are all gonna fall. Oh. Oh no, my evil eye has fallen on the floor. I should probably move this stuff away, and then I can get the books out properly. Yes, Yoga for Witches, really, really good book to teach you how yoga links with witchcraft. Highly, highly recommend it. I'm still reading it, but it's one of my favourite witchcraft books, just because it's just really, really nice, and I just love yoga, so definitely recommend that for anyone who loves yoga and witchcraft. Next book we have is The Healing Power of Trees. I tend to use this one as a reference book. Some people don't like this book because the Celtic tree calendar that the author uses is different to the one that lots of people use. So like your Celtic tree Ogham might be on a different month. Like the one that it says is your one in this book might not be the one that you say is your one. Like my tree is birch, but in this book my tree is something else. Where is it? Gosh, there's so much more in this book than I realised. The elder tree, maybe? No, I can't find it. But my tree is something else in this book. So, yes. Next one we have is The Green Witch. And this book is very popular, but I don't really rate it. I don't really feel like it works for my practice. I didn't really find a lot of stuff that I could actually use in it. It has a lot of really good practices that I could see working for other people, but I didn't think it was like incredible, but I find it useful for like journaling prompts. It's got a couple of recipes in there, but some recipes like I can't do because I don't think they'd be worthwhile, because I'm still living at home. When I have like my own house, when I'm an adult, I can like do these like tinctures and balms and like recipes and stuff, but like at the moment it's probably not. Why is it so warm? It's probably not the best thing for me to do. So yes, next we have, I'm going to just take these out so everything doesn't keep falling. Next we have Icelandic Plant Magic. I bought this because I was going to Iceland, so I thought it'd be a really, really nice book to have. And it is. It's just a nice book to have as like, kind of like a keepsake from my time in Iceland. And it's got a lot of plant magic in, which is really interesting to read about. But I don't use this book actually in my practice very often. Next one. This is probably one of the best books that I own, because it has every single main herb in it and like how you would use it. Like, for example, nettle, it tells you its folk names, tells you its gender, its planet, its element, its deity, its powers, so like the main correspondences. Then it says the magical uses. It says you can use it to remove a curse. It says that you can use it to keep nettle you can use to keep evil out and send it back. It's also thrown onto a fire to avert danger, held in the hands to ward off ghosts. It's just perfect if you want to start working with a new herb. It gives you like different practical tips of how to use it in like everyday magic. So yes, one of my favourite witchcraft books. I really want to collect loads of Scott Cunningham's books because they are just classic and just so well written. So yeah, next one we have another singer book. This is Lana Del Rey's poetry collection. It kind of just fits on my witchcraft shelf. It's got really beautiful poetry written in it. I still haven't read this book. I also have the CD of her reading the poetry, which is a really, really nice thing that I own. And it's got lots of photography in it. But yeah, it just looks nice on the shelf, so I have that on there as well. I find poetry is really nice to like inspire magic. So yes, next we have Aspecting the Goddess. This is a great book if you want to start working with deities, particularly like goddesses, like female deities. It gives you ideas of how to go about doing that. And then it has a chapter for lots of common female like goddess deities that you can work with. And yeah, it tells you stories about them. And it's just like the perfect deity goddess book. So yeah, I love that book. I haven't read it all, but the stuff I have read of it, it's really seriously good. Love that book. Next one, we have Water Magic. I still want to collect the whole series of this, but again, these books are like £12 each. So I only have the water one, but this one is really, really useful. It just tells you like a load of stuff about just water magic. So I love to read it like on holiday when I'm doing work with like rivers and stuff. It's nice to like connect with that element. But yes, as I said, they've got a fire one, a earth one, an air one, and water, so it's great. Next we have the Book of Spells. This is a book that I bought in the works when I was about 12. It was £4, and for the first time ever, when I opened this the other day, the spells actually started to make sense. Because for so many years, looking through this spell book, the spells just didn't, I just could never imagine myself doing them. But now I have like candles and stuff, I could actually see myself doing these spells. But I always knew that one day I'd see these and I'd be like, wow, I could actually do this kind of spell. So yeah, it's great as like a stepping stone. As I said in my video on Tuesday, spells should never be copied like completely. Like, I believe that you should adapt a spell to make it personal to you. Like, use a herb that you really, really connect with, or a crystal that you really, really connect with. Don't go out and buy those exact spell ingredients. Like, try and swap stuff so that you use stuff that really means something to you. So yeah, that's what I'd do if I'd ever do a spell from here. Next, these two reference books. So first one is What's That Tree? This book is great if you want to work out what a tree is. If you like doing that, I tend to just use an app to tell me what a tree is. But yeah, I love that. That might actually be useful for my course. Yeah, let's do a tangent about my uni course. So I'm going to close this because I'm a bit cooler now. It's probably really noisy. So I picked my modules the other day. So if you don't know, I'm studying biological sciences this year. It will be my first year at university, and I had to pick like all the different lessons I wanted. So I picked, first one was skills in biology, because you have to take that, but you had a choice of doing skills in biology or what was the other module? Skills in molecular biology, I think it was. But I thought the skills in biology one sounded more like the modules that I was doing. So I chose that one. And there was no like difference in between the descriptions of both. So yeah, I chose skills in biology. Next, you have to take evolution. So I'm taking the small unit of evolution, because you can take a bigger unit of it if you're more interested in it. But because there's so many things that I want to do, I'm just taking like the really simple 10 credit worth of evolution. Next one, you have to take some kind of molecular biology, I think it is. So I'm taking the small unit of that, because the bigger unit I think is molecular and cell biology, which I'd love to do. Cell biology is really, really cool, but there's just so many things I want to do. So then I got to pick 3 big modules, because I had like 70 credits left. So I've chosen plant science, climate change and sustainability, and microbiology. And this year, like, they're properly letting students do, like, as part of your degree, a language. So, and I feel like I like properly manifested this, because my backup plan, like, that I've been considering if I didn't get into university this year, was to like do a French A-level, so that I could get enough qualifications to be able to go to university. So I was going to do like properly like immerse myself in French and like really, really get good at the language. So I was kind of like thinking that I still wanted to study French a little bit this year, like in my own time, because I really, really wanted to get back into it, because I did it at GCSE, but then I dropped it at A-level. So when I found out that this year I could take it and literally it be part of my degree, like I'll be graded on it, I was so excited. So yeah, I'm really excited that like part of my course will be like a little French course thing. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, because I've been missing French lessons so much. Yeah, I think like looking back, if I had to do like another A-level, I would have done French A-level, because French is just, it was just so much fun. Like, I love language learning. So we've got a couple of books left, and I have tons of other books, which I'll make another episode about, like biology books, productivity books, all sorts of stuff like that. So next one we have The Path of Druidry. And just reminded me, that's what this week's episode was supposed to be about. I was going to talk about my EPQ. I'll do that next week. But yeah, I did this massive essay for school about Druidry and how being a Druid, or following like a Druidic kind of lifestyle, like really loving the earth and really appreciating like trees, working with trees, and like following the wheel of the year could kind of like save the climate crisis, because like if everybody implemented even a little bit of Druidry into their life, like they started to adopt a Druid mindset of like believing that the earth is sacred and trying to protect it, then we could try and slow down climate change and we could have like a healthier planet. So yeah, that's what my essay was about. I talked a lot about stuff that I learned in this book, but this is the only book I have on Druidry, because again, witchcraft books are really, really expensive, so I couldn't get any more than that for my EPQ, but this was enough, and I did lots of research online as well. But yeah, I find this was a really, really good like introduction book to Druidry. But if you personally want to get into Druidry, I'd recommend getting like multiple books about Druidry, because it's like with getting into witchcraft, you need different points of view to kind of tell you. And also I'd recommend looking at resources from the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids, because they will give you like proper information. And if you have the money, if you've got like £20 a month, you can sign up to be like a proper member of the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids, and they would teach you like a complete course of how to like become a druid, and they send you like magazines every month. I would love to do that one day, but yes, I cannot afford that. So yes, this is really, really great book, but some of it is a bit nun-ish, and I feel like it's not really accessible for everyone, some of the practices that it talks about. So yeah, it's good. I found it was really useful for me personally, but I definitely recommend that you go out and like research other Druidry books. But I definitely would recommend you buy this book, but don't use it as your only source of information when learning about Druidry. So yeah, great beginner's book of that. Then we have our final few books. Next one, we have another workbook I bought in the works. This was £5, I think. And yeah, you can write in it. It gives you loads of activities to learn all about chakras. So I love this book. Next one, this one is about crystals. This one, you can just write about crystals and it teaches you more stuff about crystals. I completely forget that I have this book, but it is really, really good. So yes, that one's good as well. The next one we have is this Chalice Well book. I bought this when I got back from Glastonbury because I saw it when I was in Glastonbury and I just thought it was such a nice keepsake to remind me of my birthday this year, because I went to Glastonbury for the first time for my birthday this year. And yeah, it just teaches you all about the history of the Chalice Well and why so many witches go and visit it and like the magical significance of it. I haven't read it yet, but it is a really nice thing to own and it's so beautiful. So yeah, I'm very glad that I have that. And then final book that we have is, I'm going to absolutely butcher the name as I do usually. Oh no, we have 2 more witchcraft books there. Yeah, we do have more. There's no more down there though. Yeah, there's 2 more here, like massive reference books. We have the Dao De Jing, I think that's how you pronounce it. That's probably really bad. So yes, this is basically just the ancient text of the Dao De Jing. It is I think that's how you pronounce it. It is loads of like small poems, I kind of say. They're not really poems, but they're like that length. And they teach you about Taoism, which is like the ancient Chinese philosophy, all about balance, living in harmony, where there's like 2 sides of the same coin. Like you have darkness and lightness, you have day and night, kind of like the balance of the universe, like the 2 sides of things. And it just teaches you like a great different perspective of life. And yeah, I really, really love that. And also something I would like to say before we move on to my big reference books is I'm going to be doing a video soon, or a podcast episode, about how, like, personally I found that in my practice, is this even in the gain? Have you been hearing me this episode? Hopefully. I find that before you build a witchcraft practice, it's so important to build like a good spiritual practice first. Because I found personally that when I build a good spiritual practice, it makes me want to do witchcraft. But if I don't have a spiritual practice whatsoever, like no meditation, no yoga, no walks in nature, no thinking about like Taoism and like ancient philosophy, or like philosophy at all, like creative stuff that Rick Rubin talks about. When I don't talk about that and think about that, like I'm completely disconnected from my craft. I don't do any spells, any divination at all. But when I start to have these days where I am more present, practicing the power of now, when I feel like I am kind of like connected to myself and the earth and everything, I start to naturally gravitate towards good witchcraft and spiritual activities naturally. So instead of like picking up my phone, I'll go and pick up a pack of tarot cards, or instead of watching TV, I will go and just drink a cup of tea reading a book. So yes, something I've found now, I try and have like deeper presence on those kinds of days. I will naturally gravitate towards these really, really useful activities. So yeah, I'm going to make a whole video about that. But yeah, definitely something important to talk about. Because I've found for years that is why I haven't progressed in my witchcraft practice, is because I didn't have a spiritual practice. And I feel like the spiritual practice is like the foundations before you start building a witchcraft practice. Because or else it's hard to want to do that in your day. You just don't think about it. Anyway, big reference books. Let's talk about those. So, first we have Culpepper's Complete Herbal. this book is a nightmare. It doesn't make any sense, but again, it's a good reference book to own. It tells you about loads and loads of plants and what they can be used for, but it's written in like a cryptic way, or it was when I was reading it when I was younger. But yeah, again, if you want to own books that are like, if you're a witch, these are perfect books to own. This is a great book to own. It's massive, absolutely massive. But yeah, I don't use it very often, but it's just a nice thing to own, I guess. And yeah, I can see myself using this one day. But I have had this a couple of years. I got it for Christmas a couple of years back because I asked for it. I thought it'd be really good. My brother tried to read it once and he was confused. So yeah, because he was only like 10 and he was like, this doesn't make any sense. Anyway, complete book of correspondences. So this book is incredible if you want to learn about correspondences. It is a big investment. I saw the other day it is about £25 on Amazon, and that is money well spent, I would say. So yes, sometimes the information isn't always like 100% accurate because like it is so much information, like it absolute tons. This book has like 500 pages because the author like wouldn't have had time to like properly research every single little thing in this book. So there are a couple of mistakes. So yeah, this is a good like base point when you're trying to put together a spell and then go on to further research and your own experiences to build a spell. But it is such an essential part of any witch's library. Like when you probably start getting into witchcraft, this is like one of the best books you can own. I find it so useful, so great for like writing videos, for like just learning about like literally a clam has like a correspondence to like abundance, communication, compassion. It's great. So yes. Now I've been talking for an hour. Oh my god, my voice. We haven't even got to the second half of the podcast yet. I'm going to take a break. I can't even talk properly. I'm going to take a break and then I will be back to do the second half of the podcast. So I'll see you in a bit. Hello, so now we have reached the end and I shouldn't be filming an outro for a podcast at this time of night. Well, it's actually not that late, it's like 9 o'clock, but I shouldn't be filming an outro to the podcast. I've had such a busy day and I've done like, I filmed 3 videos, I listed about 1 million items on Vinted, I cleared out the whole garage, I cleared out the whole garage yesterday, I donated all the stuff I cleared out the garage today, I went to the dump, I did a driving lesson with my dad, I ate a bowl of cereal, yeah, so anyway, so moving on, now's the time in the podcast I remind you, look after yourself, like drink enough water. Today I felt really dehydrated, so definitely go and grab like a cup of tea or a lovely big glass of water. My one's empty because I drank it all. It's got a tiny bit left. But yeah, make sure that you are like, go and look at a window right now if you can go and see a window, and let me know in the comments what you can see. So yeah, anyway, we've got to talk about the 3 favourites. First favourite is this community. I absolutely love my community. I barely had any comments in the last week, but thank you for all of the regular ones that you usually leave. I think it's because the content I've been uploading hasn't really got a lot of like discussionary things, and it's also not really aesthetic that you guys will go, wow, that's so cool. So it's kind of like, you know, good videos, but I don't know. What the hell was that? Was that a notification? Or was there just some like thing? That was really freaky. I don't know what that was. Anyway, so yeah, I absolutely love my community. Thank you for being here. Next thing to talk about was the song There It Goes by Rosie Peters. It is the 1st of September today, which means that it is now There It Goes season, because I'm doing better. I made it to September. I can finally breathe. That's the lyrics to There It Goes. one of my favourite Maisie Peters songs. It's one of the most cathartic songs that she's written, and that is quite high praise because there's a lot of really cathartic Maisie Peters songs. There's Kate's Brother, oh my god. There's Blonde. There's Not Another Rock Star, oh my god. Just incredible. Literally every single song. I'm Trying, Not Friends. That bridge. Anyway, so yeah, second favourite is There It Goes by Maisie Peters. It's a lovely autumnal song. I'm going to do a cover of it and put it on my Patreon soon. Might record that tomorrow. The Universe is Shifting and It's All For Me. More like the best way to end the bridge. Incredible song. Anyway, third favourite is the moon. I love the moon. I want to do more work with the moon. It's really, really beautiful. So yeah, those are 3 things that I loved this week that I'm really, really grateful for. Someone's just bought something on Vinted. I don't know what they've bought. Let's go find out. Thank you so much for being here this week. I hope you've loved seeing my collection of witchy books. I'm hoping to do this video annually so that you can see each year how my books change, but I don't buy witchcraft books very often, as I said, because they are extortionate. I really hope that I can get a job when I get to university and I can start buying witchy books regularly, because you can't get them in the library. Because I try and get books at library and they don't have them at the library, so I then have to buy them, and then I end up with madness. I donated at least 5 bags of books, and I filled up a whole massive cardboard box of my old books, and then I've got all of these, and then I've got another massive box of books in there, and then another massive box of books. Books are just everywhere. There's books on the floor, but I love books. They're brilliant. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all soon for the next video, which is coming out tomorrow, because I didn't really plan well. Bye!